Good morning, evening, or afternoon, depending on which side of the pond you're on, and welcome to an extra special episode of Across the Pitch. My name is Phil Kennedy. Tony Robinson is with me today, and we have a very special guest who has been at the forefront of the Accrington Stanley Ultras for 2 decades now. We have none other than Jason Graham, who you may have seen on some of the big Steez 50-50 raffle videos recently. Welcome to Across the Pitch, Jason.
Hello, North America. South America, wherever it is. Yeah, hello. How are you doing?
We're doing pretty good over here. As long as we we're just trying to talk about football to keep our minds off of maybe some other things that are going on this side of the pond.
It's the same here. The world seems to have gone mad, so you've just got to try, and I'm just trying to stay as much as I can away from it and just concentrate on football. That's why the 50-50 draw has been good for me. Just take your mind off it a little bit and just... Well, you can't believe what's happening in 2020. You just cannot believe it.
No, and I mean, you don't have to go too far back, do you? First, in the first part of March, we were happily watching and going to football matches. And then within the 2 weeks, the whole everything went for shit in the handcart,
Yeah, and you'd think Corona would be the last of it, and then you've got this Black Lives Matter and everything. Oh gosh, it is. God, the world's gone mad.
And you've got fires over there on the Darwin Moors, for crying out loud.
I think they're out now. I think they're out. I think they've gone. Yeah, I think they've gone. But that was just someone, just an idiot with a barbecue. Mad. Yeah.
So I'm interested because, as being a fan from sort of in North America and traveling back, one of the experiences I enjoy is looking down at the Clayton End and seeing the ultras and the flags and the noise and the singing. So I'm going to jump right in. How did the ultras become the ultras?
Well, I started following Stanley in about home and away in about '99, and I've also always been a big Aberdeen fan from being a kid. When I was a kid, being from Accrington, Accrington didn't have that draw for me as a kid. They were non-league. They were pub leagues. We'd go to games as a youngster, and you'd slightly laugh because it was such a poor standard. So I never had no affinity to Burnley, no affinity to Blackburn. My dad didn't follow a team, so I was Aberdeen through and through. So when I left the army, I thought I'll go back on Stanley again, just something to do on a Saturday because Aberdeen's so far away. And then you get the buzz, then, don't you? And then before you know it, being an Aberdeen fan, they were the first UK Ultras. They had a group called the Red Ultras, and I knew all those lads. And seeing what they did in Aberdeen, just thought we can replicate this in Accrington. And it just gave me that little inkling. Before we know it, we put a couple of flags together, and I was itching just for it not to be Jason and a couple of flags. I just wanted to build it, if you understood that. And I could see what Aberdeen were doing, and I just thought, we'll piggyback that a little bit. Repetition is a better form of flattery, whatever they call it. Right. So I just thought, we could do that. We could do that at Accrington easily. The ground regulations are lower. We make a big sort of big furore really at Accy. It'd be great, and that's what I did. So yeah. It just one day it popped into my head that we should have a group. We should have a group behind the goals. There's always been an official supporters club, and I'm quite involved in that now. But I just wanted us to have something for behind the terrace. They had a real good, camaraderie. Lowy there, the lad called Plum, Bubs. It was Plum Tours at the time. A lad called Ian Plumley was running the bus before Lowy, and they had a real good camaraderie, behind that goal. I just wanted to enhance it.
As someone who streams the games on iFollow over here in the U.S., I've got to say, you guys make a ton of noise. And at any time that I'm streaming a game over here from the Wham Stadium, I could close my eyes and I would know that it was the Stanley Ultras that I was hearing. And that's how much noise you guys make on the broadcast. And one of the things that I love is that you guys are down close in, we always talk about, and you can hear the sound of the drum pinging against the kind of the advertising boards, and I love that noise. It's just very, very unique when you hear the drums and then the pinging on the advertising boards.
It's a great place, is the Clayton, but it took a long time to get to that standard. We used to have no roof. That used to be the thing that sort of I wanted to get was the players used to come on to nothing really when we first used to go. The players would come on and people wouldn't even realise the players would come on. And I wanted it to be more of a fanfare, you know. And then it took a long time to get people to change. So there had to be some sort of, the players are coming on and everyone, you know, the banners go up, the flags go up. We know the players have started. If you went back to when we first started, 2005, 2004, you didn't have that. You didn't realise the players would come on at some time. You know, there was not ripple. They weren't even ripple off applause, and it sort of really got to me that it wasn't like that. It wasn't like the top level football where the players are coming on. You know, let's go for it. And it does. You hope that the main thing we wanted to do was to inspire. And since then, we've had 4 promotions. So, well, sorry, 3 since Stanley Ultras started. So well,
yeah. That made a.
I know John Coleman. You know, he's hinted that, and then Jimmy Bell has hinted that, you know, those things go hand in hand. You know, the fans, the players, the management. You know, it all comes hand in hand.
Well, I think one of the things that John Coleman and his staff, they always comment on the noise coming from, you know, the Clayton End especially, and I think when there's a big win. One of the things that they do is in a sign of respect, really, I think, is they go down to the Clayton End to acknowledge everybody because they know how much you mean to the players.
Yeah, it does. It brings you points during the season. I'm sure it does.
Well, you know, they talk about the 12th man, and I you know, I mean, for me, when you've got a small fan base, the 12th man is certainly more important to Stanley than, say, to like a Man City or Man United or something like that. Because I mean, I don't know. It's part of the overall atmosphere, and it's nonstop. I don't know how when you guys are done at the end of the match, you guys must be as tired as some of the players.
It takes me about half an hour to like sort of stop sweating when you get to, especially when you get that clubhouse now. Gosh, it is. Yeah, it's like a workout.
And who does the drum? Let's give him some.
We've had a few over the years. It's Caelan now. He's a full-time drummer. He's in a Scottish pipe band. It's Caelan, but we've had Myler, Danny Aaron. There's been a lot of the lads have come through. It seems to be you slightly get too old for it, and then you're like, I don't want to do that anymore, and then people keep coming through again. So yeah, when Caelan starts thinking he's had enough, I'll have to look for someone else. But yeah, yeah.
You're not close enough to the drum. You have to wear earplugs or something, do you?
No, louder the better. Louder the better. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that what we're talking about with the 12th man, it really is something that it's important for folks to understand. With us starting to have sports come back, is why football is different than auto racing, for instance. You can have auto racing without any fans in the stands because the cars make the noise anyway. The driver is in a cockpit. It doesn't really matter. With football, the fans really are part of the game as much as the players on the field and the coach and the atmosphere that's created in the stadium. And you know, as someone who's a supporter for the Phoenix Rising here, I have no doubt that the noise that we make in the South End, it helps the club where they're attacking at the end of that end of the field. There, you can't convince me any differently, and I'm sure you feel the same way with the Stanley Ultras.
Same with the Clayton, and the noise is every time we're attacking to the Clayton, and the noise is always a bit more ramped up.
You, Jason, you mentioned earlier on about working now with the Supporters Club and Peter Latham, and before you're sort of at a separate entity with the Ultras, and the supporter clubs were sort of a bit separate. How has that come about with the coming together, and how has that worked out for you?
Well, we've tried it before. In 2004, when we first put the idea about it, there was shock horror in the Supporters Club. They basically said, "Why are you making another club when we've already got one?" But if you went to the Supporters Club, and we did in the early days, went to Supporters Club meetings, they were, and Peter knows this, they were for the old brigade, you know, they were, shall we have an organist on a Friday night? And the meetings went on for hours. They were, shall we spend £10 for some Christmas decorations or £30? It just really wasn't our thing. So it's good to be able to unite them now, but at the time it just wouldn't work. Now we're trying to unite the clans because we're too small to have two different factions. And so we should try and make the Supporters Club and the Ultras together and move forward together. We can't have like it used to be where there's one for one for another. So we're just trying to unite the clans. That's why I try and do it now. So you get a bit of stick from the young ultra lads. Like, what are you doing? But we need to all move forward together. There's things that the youngsters or the young element of the support will want that the older ones won't. But if we just all work together, we know what angle both sides are coming from. We should be able to provide something for both avenues and build the club. Really, we're all Stanley fans.
Yeah, and I think Peter's Latham's a lot more sort of open-minded to that kind of a thing now these days, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. In the olden days, we weren't no one in the supporters club. Or not saying no one, but a lot weren't interested. I don't think they realised how fast we were growing.
Well, one thing that we were talking about a little bit earlier is the kind of physical exertion that's involved with some of this. And one thing that I always see watching on TV is when it's like 40 degrees Fahrenheit and pouring rain. And I don't know how you guys do it. But on the other hand, we'll be over here in Phoenix and it'll be 110 degrees Fahrenheit, not raining. So you probably would you trade your 40 degrees and raining for 110 degrees in Fahrenheit and no rain? Or would you keep what you've got?
I've been to Vegas. It's too hot. We'll keep our own weather. It's good. It's summer. You can have the 30 degrees Celsius, can't you? And then you can have the -10 in winter. It's great.
Well, I feel the same way. You can keep your cold and rain, and we'll keep our 110.
We had that horizontal rain against Lincoln. That was one of the best atmospheres that we've had this season easily. The Lincoln game was amazing. The 4-3. That was horizontal rain, but you're under the cover. It was great. Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah, it's hard to describe because when you're sitting and you're sitting I sit in the side stands and you do get a bit of the rain, but you are sheltered. But I'll tell you, sometimes on a Tuesday night, even in late October, it gets rain and damp, and you can feel the cold. But it's funny though, you feel the cold, but you're not cold because of your involvement in the match, right?
Need to get next to the drum. Get next to the drum. We'll look after you. You'll keep warm as anything. Have no jacket on.
Maybe next fall when I'm over, I'll come and stand next to the drum.
I don't know if I'll ever want to sit down. I don't know. Maybe I will. I'm 46 now, so maybe I will.
Tony, I got one for you. Would you rather stand out in an Accrington rainstorm or a Toronto snowstorm?
Oh, Accrington rain. You don't have to shovel rain.
Canada's the coldest place I've been, I think.
Well,
Next forces. I went to Medicine Hat and Edmonton and Banff, and it was freezing and then the sun came out and it's boiling.
Well, yeah, you're way north. I'm in southern Ontario, but still, you get. We've had a dust and the snow in May, and yet we've had the air conditioning on in the house just a week ago. So you never know what weather you're going to get. It's one extreme to the other. But as far as I'd rather have rain than snow any day of the week. I don't mind snow, but I can handle the rain.
Yeah, there's snow in England. We get about an inch in England. In Canada, you get about 10 foot, don't you?
An inch. I don't even put my coat on when I shovel for an inch.
Well, I guess I would say more along the lines of what weather you would rather watch a football game in rather than clean up after.
Accrington rain.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jason.
Accrington drizzle, brilliant.
The reason that I asked this is because I've heard a lot of American football players say they would rather play a game in the snow than a game in the rain. So I was just kind of wondering, we're just down here in Phoenix where it's hot and dry, and we don't even know what snow and rain are. But
I'll tell you, back in the day though, when I used to play, not that I played that much, I played back for Oswestwhistle Rovers back in the late '60s. And if it on a Saturday morning, and if it rained, that was the best football when it rained and you're playing football in the rain. It was just a lot of fun doing that because you'd go home and you knew you'd be covered from head to toe in mud, and your strip your mum would give you a heck for coming home with all that mud on you.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Can I ask about? I wanted to just delve into. You mentioned earlier on, Jason, about the flags. Mm-hmm. The flags are. That's all your work, isn't it?
Yeah, I used to make them with a little help from people. A few of the big surfers. Me and Lowy, he used to work at a Phillips factory in Blackburn, and he had a spare unit. And one night we just went in there. We made a 60-foot by 30-foot ASFC banner and a big on Stanley on one. We used to make them. Just run out of time now, really, and you can get them that cheap, and compared to the time and effort to make them, sometimes it's worth just paying a few now. But the handmade ones are great, but yeah, it's just most of it's just been me. I didn't want it to just be me, but you get left with it, really, don't you? You just get left.
What was the most favorite one you've ever done as far as the flag?
I would call them displays. We had one against Newcastle. I don't know if you've seen it online, but I think we spent something like 600 hours making it up to the Newcastle game in the League Cup. There was a Bobby Robson memorial banner that said Heaven's Manager that we unfurled. There was we drew a picture of a magpie being booted up the bum by Andy Capp and said "Time for Sorrow." There was about 300 streamers, the main stand all holding up cards. That was our pinnacle, I suppose. It was a full stadium display, and then we lost. So. And
then you got a lot of respect for that one from.
We did. Our finest hour, I suppose, in 2010. It was great, really good.
Yeah, when the away fans give you a standing ovation for a display like that, you're on the right track.
Yeah.
But it just shows you that it's for the love of the game, and we're all in this together, really.
Yeah. Definitely, yeah. A lot of people helped on that one. You need to get a lot of volunteers. There was people on sewing machines, and it was mad really working up to that game, but it all came off and it was great. I'd love to do it again, something that as big as that, but we'll see.
Maybe when they get promoted into the championship.
Yeah, the promotions tend to. I didn't do much for the League One. The promotion to League One, it seemed to catch up on you before you know you're there, and you just haven't got time. The games are coming so fast. You need a decent bit of notice. You need 3 or 4 weeks of we've got that big game coming up to be able to work to it, really, because it do take a lot of hours.
Yeah,
they're good. I enjoy doing it though. When it comes off, it's great. You see the Clayton End in full bloom. The full bloom, it's great. I love it.
Now, one thing I think that we should probably talk about here. It was something I brought up when you talked about a little bit in the beginning, but let's talk about the 50-50 raffles, because that's something that's happening right now. We're in the 8th week of the 50-50 raffles, and why don't you tell us a little bit about where the money's going to and things like that?
Yeah, we're I don't know, you must have not seen the pictures, but we're doing the memorial garden behind the back of the Clayton End.
Yeah.
It's all been built in brick, raised planters. Everyone's going to have a chance to, God forbid, when they pass away, to put a memorial plaque up there. So that it's a little time to reflect before a game if your granddad's there or your dad's there, or God forbid, when I go, I'll be there. You can go there, and it's going to. Looking at the plans, it's going to be fantastic when it's finished. So as soon as lockdown came, we've lost a lot of our funding. The end of season dues and things are not the plan that we planned are not in place. It just came to us that we could do a 50-50 draw, and we just run it as if we're doing virtual games. And it's really captured the imagination of the public, really, the Stanley fans. So we're on near enough 700 quid, I think, 800 quid now. We're on for £1,000 jackpot this week. It's been good. We got players sending videos in and helping to recruit the little pound tickets there, so it's been excellent, yeah.
I think even, Phil, you made an appearance. Well, we both made an appearance on one video.
Tony and I both even made it into a video, and you don't have to be in Accrington to play the 50-50 draw. Just go to onstanleyon.com. All you need is a PayPal account, and you can buy as many tickets as you want for £1 a ticket. And I'll tell you, the exchange rate has been pretty good lately. Sometimes it's like $14 for 10 tickets. Lately, it's only been about $12 for 10 tickets. I'll buy some extra when I'm getting a good exchange rate. So that's one win you can get for international.
Come on.
I'll take that exchange rate any day of the week, Phil. Quit bragging.
But what you guys lack in exchange rate, you make up for in gravy.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Are you surprised at the success that of this 50-50 draw? The way it's been embraced?
No, not really. I think we've got we're small in number, but every time you ever ask for anything from anybody, the response has always been really good. You know, if we've said like we just did an 8 meter by 4 meter Jack Barrett banner bought from a German company for €400. Now, a lot of people, there might be some people who, I don't want to pay for that, but you know, you put the call to arms out there, and it's done in about two or 3 days. You know.
Yeah. Who helps you on the production of your when you go live on Saturday?
Just my girlfriend, just Lucy, fiance, whatever they call it now. Supposed to get married soon, so
she doesn't get any.
My fiance, she's and then my daughter, she does the filming. So yeah. Well, I think this week we might have Andy Holt helping this week. We're going to the club to do it this week, so we might have Andy Holt.
Instead of just his picture, you're going to have the real thing.
You're going to say, how can we get one of those cardboard cutouts of Andy Holt over here?
Andy Holt is going to be replaced by Big Andy Holt. So yeah, we're open to go to the club, open up, use the PA. We were trying to do some sort of Champions League draw, but I don't think it's going to work that way. But because you don't know the exact amount of numbers of the tickets at the end, do you? So, but yeah, we're going to ramp it up this week. And I think going forward, cashing in on the success, I think there may be something replacing it going forward, but I'm keeping under wraps for now until the draw's finished. But there might be something just to cash in on it, really, right at the end. To keep out for that for everyone out there.
This is something I'm going to kind of announce now. Is in the coming weeks. Actually, it might be next week if the mail arrives. So I kind of went onto the Accrington Stanley shop website. I basically just kind of told Peter, sent me one of everything. So I've got, a tie and a hat. I will now have a shirt in every color that they offer. So I'm going to get all of my gear on, and I'm going to make a video as soon as it gets here. I'm going to have a tie on. I'm going to have a scarf on. I even ordered one of those plates for the front of my house. So I'm going to have the only Accrington Stanley address plate in all of Arizona. I'm going to make a video and send it to you guys to help promote the 50-50. I'll get that going here in a couple days.
Yeah, good. That's good.
Are you surprised at the global reach now of Stanley? That when you're before, you probably don't get a lot of feedback. Now with the social media and everything and what's going on, and we're doing a podcast from North America about Stanley. Does this surprise you at all?
Not really. I think we should have probably cashed in on it a lot sooner. Really, we got such a unique name and such a unique history. We should have really cashed in on it. But I don't know. Maybe the fact that it's 2020 and it's easier to keep an eye on a club so far away these days than it used to be. But I knew we used to always ship out stuff globally, I think, but it seems to be now, when you think we had videos coming from France, Ghana, Canada. So, the global fans are out there, and they don't, not just out there, they visit, Netherlands, Remco, they all visit. This all seems to come across. So
yeah, and that group from Norway always come across.
I think it's a magical football club, but, we support them, so.
And I think I remember usually in the fall, the lads from Norway come over and clean out the shop usually.
Yeah, Norway used to be our only big group. And then we got the Remco and his gang from Amsterdam, the Fortuna Sittard lads, and then the French group, and obviously now the North American and the American group. So yeah, it's good. It's good. More the merrier. We should definitely highlight a game where everyone comes if we can do that. I'll maybe bring that up in a trust meeting. Just have a game where everyone, even the ones that like an invasion game where we try and get everybody.
It's funny you mentioned that because before.
Sometime this month we're actually trying to arrange where we're going to try to get a podcast where we get like at least one or two people on from each country that we possibly can, and just kind of have everybody say their name and on Stanley on or something along those lines. And something that I've been talking to Peter about a little bit about actually trying to do this month.
Yeah,
it's funny because before the supporters club with Peter, there was a smaller version and I know I went to a couple of meetings, and I said, what about like sort of an international day, for people coming that could come back, and basically the response was sort of like a blank spare, is that well, it's just Accrington Stanley. There wouldn't be that big of an interest from people coming around from distances and things like that. So it kind of got shut down. But the more and more you talk to people now, I think you could have an international day if you long just set it in advance. And wouldn't it be nice to have flags of those countries come on the pitch for every country that's represented?
That would be amazing.
Yeah, I could make them.
Well, I think there would be.
Well, we had Robbie Bocco from Benin. I made a big flag for him. That was about 8 foot, about 9 foot. I can't remember how big it was, but yeah, it was a big Benin flag. He was a great guy.
Well, I was going to ask too, when you mentioned him as I'm obviously one of the fan favorites. If there was one player that you could have come back to play one match, put on the red shirt and play in front of the Clayton End, one match of one player, who would it be?
Probably Gary Roberts. Gary Roberts for me.
Yeah.
Only because he rescued me once. Aldershot away. We went down there on a Tuesday night. It was pouring with rain. A good chance the game was going to be called off, but in the end it went ahead during our conference winning season, and we won 4-1. We got back on the bus afterwards. Obviously, quite a party atmosphere. Called in at the local Asda, where the manager said you've had too much to drink effectively and you can't get any beer. So Gary Roberts won. The players coach wandered in straight after us, and Gary bought all the bus their beer. So we were rescued in Aldershot by Gary when we were out of alcohol. But not just that. Obviously, he's a cracking player, still playing now. So
for our Canadian listeners, that's a different Gary Roberts than played for Calgary Flames.
Yes, and yeah.
It's the one that started his career at Welsh Pool. But he was a great player. He's still playing now. I think he's still
playing. He's still playing Wigan now. I think. Is
he at Wigan?
Wigan, yeah.
But they're good friends. I always thought he'd come back, but it'd just be money, I think. But good friends, obviously, with Coley and Jimmy and all them.
And when you mentioned about the going away, what stadium or what's the best away trip, or as far as like atmosphere and the best away trip that you've had?
Probably for atmosphere. I think the Bournemouth game in the FA Cup. It was about 20 to a seat at the back. When we were small, that was our first real trip where we took a load down to Bournemouth. I think Lowy talked about it. 4 coaches at the time was amazing.
Yeah.
Looking back, that cup run was great. Even going down to Colchester on a Tuesday night as well was great. Was it Tuesday night? Yeah, I'm sure it was Tuesday night. Yeah. That was great as well. So yeah, that FA Cup run was brilliant for atmosphere. I like smaller grounds, especially now. You can't really make an impression in the big grounds now, Accy. But when we used to go to places in non-league and just take over, you could really make inroads to the atmosphere, if you understand that. It's harder now. You go to Ipswich with 100 people, they don't even know you're there at the time. It's hard work. But when you're in the conference, you take 100 people there. Gosh, you could, that's it. They didn't know that Accy are in the house. If you understand that, that's one of our big things.
One of we just recorded a show and it's not out yet. Phil's working on it, but I just wanted to get your quick opinion on it. Is we talked about Darren Woodhead and Phil and myself. There was kicked around a week or so ago about the potential of merging the second division, League Two, with the National, making a third division or second division North and South. What's your thoughts on that, Jason?
Well, my first initial thoughts was I'd like it because, like I said, I want to be able to take enough voices so you can be heard. You can be heard and you can make a difference and you can affect the game effectively. So you can do that better in the North. But then more other people, Paul Baldwin and Callum James, they steer me the opposite way, which is, once you get all local derbies, nothing becomes local, if you understand that. And maybe people would drift off. If the games were so close, you could go to every one of them. You wouldn't get that big game out, and I'm probably inclined to agree with them now.
Well, it's funny because when I started off at the beginning of the discussion, exactly saying what you said, and then at the end of it, I changed my mind.
Yeah, I am now as well. I think people would like that. If you say you've got 4 home games in a month and you've got Blackpool away, say, and 3 you can miss out, you can spend a bit of time with your family, and you can really concentrate on that Blackpool game. You get everyone together, and the atmosphere can be exceptional. Whereas if you had 4 games that were all quite close, maybe they'd dilute that day out. So I'm probably going to say no. I'll probably say we stay where we are. And we've worked like they said, we've worked hard to get to national level from non-league. And although I love non-league, I never want to go back so hastily. I loved it when we were there, but to go back now after we've managed to get scramble ourselves to Division 3, League 1, I just couldn't go back. I don't think now.
Yeah.
We laugh too much at the old teams, your Herefords and your Altrinchams and people who said we would never last. That was the big thing when we got promoted to conference. Altrincham said, Altrincham fans, Barrow fans, they said, "Oh, you won't last very long in the conference," and they were right because we shot up into League 2. So yeah, I need to go back there now, and they could all then laugh back at us,
Yeah, I mean, I think that what you're saying is kind of where my thought was, is that sure, it might be nice for a year or two to have all the close trips and things like that, but then, like you said, after a while, it's just going to be, you kind of get to play the same teams over and over again, and you miss the novelty of taking that long trip to Portsmouth or Plymouth.
Yeah, we always used to do. We don't do it as much now, but there always used to be a weekend game. Everyone would highlight, and we'd all go on a weekend away. And that was always somewhere really far away. The 2 Torquay ones were magical. There was some like 3 or 4 coaches went down there, all in one hotel. Of Accy fans, it was ace, the Torquay weekenders. So you'd lose that as well. Looking at the fixture list when it comes out in June and deciding which is the weekend you're all going to make and go away. Whether it's Portsmouth or I think they've done Portsmouth before, Bristol Rovers. Whether it's going to be one of those, you'd lose that, wouldn't you? You'd lose that. A weekend in Scunthorpe or Salford, it's just not the same, is it? As Torquay? No. It's just not the same.
I spent a week one day in Salford.
Don't mention Salford. I don't agree with Salford.
I think right now might be a good time for you to bust out the rapid fire. Tony, what do you think?
Yep, yeah, that sounds good. Whenever you're ready, Phil.
Well, I think I'm ready. The question is Jason ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Right, here you go. I'm going to mix it up a bit. Let's start with on your bacon sandwich, red or brown sauce?
It wouldn't be a bacon sandwich. It would always be sausage, always. No bacon in this house. Sausage.
Oh, all right. Oh,
and brown, okay. and brown, yeah.
Brown, sausage and brown, yeah. Mushy or garden peas?
Mushy, definitely. I'm a northerner.
Yeah. Beatles or Rolling Stones?
Oh, well, none of them.
None of them, all right.
I'll tell you what, I think there's a reason why. My favourite band in the whole world is Carter, the Unstoppable Sex Machine. What about that for a band name? Carter USM, and they had they sampled a little bit of Rolling Stones' lyrics, "Goodbye Ruby Tuesday," and they got sued for it, and they had to give them all their royalties.
Oh dear.
So Jagger, no, and I just think the Beatles are overrated. Sorry.
Okay.
I like 8 days a week, and that's it. But no, I like my music, but no, none of them for me.
Cheese and onion pie, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. With your full English, would you have with or without black pudding?
Oh, with, definitely.
Good man.
Buddy's only 5 miles away, isn't it? So.
Yes, and you can't beat the ones in Bury Market, can you?
Superb.
Coronation Street or EastEnders?
None.
After the match in happy hour, Accy Ale or a lager?
Lager, definitely.
Have you watched Sunderland Till You Die?
Yes, I have.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it's a good to have a little insight into it. I agree with Andy Holt about Charlie Methven. That's all I'll say.
Okay. One thing we've been asking now is if you've watched it, did you prefer Sunderland Till I Die or The Last Dance?
I've only just started watching The Last Dance, but the one I enjoyed the best, I don't know if anyone's watched it, and it's a good football program. It's dubbed, but you remember the Mexican team that Maradona took over? Is it Dorados?
Oh, okay. I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that.
That is cracking. That is a cracking watch. So that's the one I like. I've also watched. There's two on there. There's one about River Plate and one about Boca Juniors. They're both I think better than Sunderland Till I Die. You just have to get around the fact that they're in a foreign language, but they're great. It's the time when the Boca Juniors one is the time when Pachi goes back. Carlos Tevez.
Oh yeah, right.
They're really good. But the Dorados one about the Mexican team that Maradona manages, I love that.
I'll give that a watch. And last one for me, Phil, is what's your favorite takeaway?
Indian. We got an Indian around here called Matali. That's my love. Indian.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with an Indian anyway.
But Tex-Mex at the Victoria pub. The Victoria pub. In Accy? No?
Say that again. Where's that?
The Victoria pub on Manchester Road.
Yes, yes. Oh, yeah.
They're doing a Tex-Mex to Mexican takeaway currently, a lockdown takeaway, and that's fantastic as well.
Yeah, I know where that's just going up on Manchester Road as you're going out of town.
Yeah. Well, Craig, the landlord, is doing a company called Tex-Mex. Have gone in there and they're doing it while lockdown's on, and that's fantastic Mexican food.
It's one place I want to go into when I'm back over is make a visit there, and the other one I didn't make last year is the Peel Park pub. I gotta make that one again too.
Yeah. That's on my dog walk is the Peel Park, so it's great. Go off the dog walk, come off the coppice, straight into the Peel Park for a pint with the dogs, and then you can wander home.
Oh, you can't beat that, can you, Phil?
That's one thing. No. During this lockdown, the dog walk, and then it goes past the pub right at the end. It's so crazy, especially weekends. Gosh, you didn't think you'd miss a pub so much.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good old pub.
Well, it's the atmosphere and the people you're visiting, and I just the chit chat and the talk that you miss. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a good pint and a good natter with somebody.
True. That's it.
All right. Well, you had said that you were not into the Beatles or the Rolling Stones. What about Oasis or Blur? Do you have a favorite out of them?
Yeah, I was in the first Oasis fan club.
Nice.
I got them straight away. I got Shaker Maker on 7-inch. So
wow.
I used to read the New Musical Express, and they were the darlings of the New Musical Express when they first came out. Oasis. They were very good. That first album was a great debut album, and my interest in them waned as it got mass like a lot of bands when they get really popular. Sold out. So yeah, but I was Oasis.
Right.
All right, and then we mentioned gravy in Canada earlier, and in Canada, Tony recommends their signature dish of poutine, which is chips, gravy, and cheese curds. Is this something you would like to try?
It sounds disgusting. but I've tried food all over the world. I'll try anything, and then I'll know if I like it, and then I'll try it again. But yeah, I'll try it.
It's got all the.
It sounds disgusting.
No, but it's got all the main food groups: gravy, potatoes, and cheese.
I'll take your word for it. I've been to Canada and I've never had it.
Yeah, you got to throw some jalapenos on that.
Yep, I'll have them. No problem.
Jalapenos on pizza. So it sounds like you'd be.
We'll have that. We'll have that.
All right, that's what we like to hear.
Pineapples on your pizza.
Yeah, we'll have that. We'll do that. Yeah,
good man.
You do pineapple and the jalapeno together.
I do pineapple, ham, pineapple, and jalapenos. No problem.
I would swap out the ham for the bacon, or maybe we'd all have to settle on sausage, so you don't. Yeah.
Love bacon, don't you?
And then the last one we have here is another new one that we've added in is Star Wars or Star Trek.
Star Wars.
All right, I think we've got almost 100% Star Wars. I think Aaron, who also likes Blur, is the only one.
He's from Australia. He has a different view on life.
Who does?
He was born on the upside down side of the earth. All right, and then one thing that we mentioned at the beginning of the show that we wanted to have you kind of go over, this might be a good thing to finish up with. So like we said at the beginning, you've been at the forefront of the Stanley Ultras for 20 years now. You've been seeing Stanley games both home and away. So I know that picking a favorite match would probably be a big ask. So what we're going to ask is for you to give us your 3 favorite matches that you've attended in person.
Gosh, that's took me by surprise. The first one is probably conference season was the best season for me. Just peaks Pip's promotion from League Two, just because we were
2005, 2006.
Yeah, the conference winning season it was exceptional. I think I did all the games. Some mad trips away, but the players still sing about it. They sing a song that's called "We Won It on Sky." We won it on Sky in Exeter. We won it on Sky. The Exeter game. It was amazing. That was an amazing game. I think it was a Monday night live on Sky TV. We had about 30 of us, I think maybe more, but that travelled down. Exeter were, I think, one of our nearest rivals. Exeter, Hereford, maybe Aldershot at the time, and we dispatched them live on telly 3-1. So that's definitely up there.
That 2005-2006 season, it's come up a lot. I mean, even John Coleman called that his favorite group. I think he said the 99-2000 promotion stood out for him the most because he actually played in it. But he said the 2005-2006 was his kind of favorite group just because everybody kind of got along so well and hung out together.
I do understand what John was saying about the conference winning side. I don't know. This just seems to be a lot. Probably a thing now that you're not as close to footballers as you are. We were quite close to, especially Billy Keane in the League One winning season, but that conference winning season, I think we just knew everybody. They always seemed to be around in the pubs. They were always, the coach, like you said, the coach would come past us on the motorway. It was bouncing, They really had some real characters. Your Ian Craney's, Gary Roberts, Welshie, some real, they were great people, and that's why that one stands out for me. It's a real good season. We just take over places. I think he mentioned Forest Green, or maybe Lowy mentioned it. We got our striker, Andy Mangan. He's only about 17. So we threw him through the ceiling. There was a band on. There was Stanley everywhere. It was just a real cult season. That definitely. He's right about that. But going on to the second game, is John mentioned it, and I think everyone's mentioned it. We were is the Radcliffe Borough game. We were 2-0 down. We were going nowhere. We were John and Jimmy both said they're probably going to get sacked. And then obviously Carragher, Smith, Bell, all we come back from it. It was 2 pitch invasions, which I'd never seen at Stanley. It was my first real season going away. I think it could have even been my first away game after I'd come out of the army. It was bedlam. They were in this little stand at Radcliffe Borough. The place was going mental. You couldn't have scripted it, and then all we had to do was beat Farsley and we were up, or beat Bursko and then Farsley. I can't remember what it was actually, but that game, you knew we were going up. To come back from 2-0 down to win 3-2. That probably is my number one, I think, games wise. That was a classic.
Yeah, that's made a lot of people's list, hasn't it, Phil?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if anyone was a fan in 99-2000 and they were at that Radcliffe, even looking back with rose-tinted glasses, and you look back sometime when you were younger, but that match, if it happened now, we had 2. We came back from 3-2 twice in the run in the season when we went up to League One, but you couldn't script that better. We were in something like 6th, and we had to win all our games. And Jesus, it was amazing that game. He'll never be beaten, and John said himself he won't beat it that season. Probably there's that Aldershot game where we won 4-1. I like the ones where there's hardly anyone there, and you go really far, and it's a bit of a cult trip. So yeah, we beat Aldershot in that same conference season, 4-1 on a Tuesday night. There's hardly anyone there, pouring down with rain. Probably say that one. So Aldershot, Exeter, and the Radcliffe game. Yeah. Something else will come to me now after that. When I'm not on camera, I'm not on the telly. Something will come to me now.
All right. Well, so now that we asked you about your favorite matches, that was kind of the last question I had on my list, and I think Tony had gotten through his question. So what we usually finish up with was, anything else that you wanted to talk about that we hadn't asked you about so far?
No, I don't think so. No, maybe just a terrace. There'll be lots of people listening to this that are a bit like, what's going on, and I just want us to have the best terrace in Division 3 football, I suppose. So that's my big thing, really. I just want everyone to pull together, everyone to suck that ball into the net. That's just the main reason why we have Stanley Ultras, just to get that atmosphere in that clan and really rocking. That's my big thing, really. So.
Well, David Lloyd said in Bubble, he said that's his favourite place to stand is in the Clayton End.
Yeah, there's been a video recently, hasn't there, where he's been on the terrace.
Yeah.
Not too far away from us as well. He's only a shift down. You'd think at his age, you'd probably think, I'll go and sit in the stands and instead of all this incessant noise from the drum. But no, he's got ultra spirit.
Good man.
It's amazing what you guys have created down there, and like I said, over here in Phoenix, I'm only able to stream the games on TV, but even just streaming the games on TV, the atmosphere that you guys created at the Wham Stadium, it just comes through, and with the tifos and the banners, and like you said, spending 600 hours on one tifo, and it's just the amount of time and effort and that you put into supporting Stanley, and the videos that you've been making for the 50-50 draw, and we appreciate so much everything that you do for the club, and we think you're well on your way, if you haven't already succeeded, at making the Clayton End the best in all of England Division 3.
I'll try my best. Honestly, we'll just keep pushing it from our end. I'll just keep adding things. As soon as the Jack Barrett flag came, I was like, what we're doing next? What we're doing next? What we're doing next? What we're doing next?
Yeah.
You got to. But it needs everybody. It's not just me. It needs everyone on that terrace. You want to make it the best place to come watch football, and that's what I push out to everyone else who's listening. Maybe that we want to just make it, because it needs everybody. You can't have me on my own. If you were just me on my own, it's rubbish. It just needs everybody. To make that terrace the best it can be. That's what I'm trying to do in my own little way.
Well, it is. It certainly adds to the success of the club anyway. That's for sure.
Alternatively, though, it's not a super fan competition. You don't have to do all this stuff. You can just come to the game, watch the game, no problem. It's a competition. This is the way I'd like to follow football.
Everybody has their own way of supporting the game, and at the end of the day, show up and buy your ticket.
I know there's fans that hate the drum. They pop up on social media every now and then, and that's down to them. That's their bag. I can't see myself sitting down watching football. I stand there. I want to be slightly involved. No, we're not involved as much as being a supporter, but that's what I think our job is as an ultras group behind the goal, is to get the atmosphere going, get the tempo up for the players, and get the ball in the net for them.
Well, and when you get the away fans, when there's a good support for away fans, and then the ultras are singing. It's you're sitting in the middle kind of thing. It is quite the atmosphere as when you get both sets of fans singing. So, but I think what you guys bring to the club is, I say, the 12th man is. If there's ever a description of the 12th man, I think you guys in the Clayton End fit the bill.
Yeah, thank you. Good. That's what we're trying to do.
Well, I think that it's time to wrap up with what we always like to wrap up with. And we're going to let you give it first, Jason.
Stanley on.
Stanley on.
Stanley on.
Thank you.